If you're still cramming in 2026, what are you actually doing? No, actually, what are you doing? As a first class mechanical engineering student and someone that recently passed my CAPA exam, I've come to understand study techniques. It makes it absolutely impossible for you to forget what you're studying. It makes it very, very easy for you to actually pass your exams. So that's why in this video, I'm going to be looking about 5 major study techniques that you need to start incorporating in your next exams that will actually help you to do better and get higher grades. So, anyways, let's get into it. So, the first one is practice questions and review. Most people see practice questions and an act. As a study tuber, I've come to like practice questions is not just an act, but a study technique. And I'm going to tell you how to actually use practice questions, actually do better in your academics, and how I actually use it to pass my CAPM exam. And I'm going to explain it with this particular quote. And it says, mistakes and failures are precisely your means of education. They tell you about your own inadequacies, says Robert Greene. So practice question is not just about practicing, but it actually helps you to number one, understand the major topics in that course that question come out from. It helps you to understand the topics within those ones that you've actually not yet understood. And it actually helps you to also understand your weak points and what you actually need to narrow down on to do better in your academics. So when you're practicing past questions, don't just be doing the past question, then you now go and check the answer at the back. No, but actually practice the questions by yourself to actually ensure that you manage your time effectively and also are able to answer the questions. These are one of the things that actually helped me to do a whole lot better in my CAPM exam. Because when I was practicing, right, I understood that, oh, when I get to the later section of my exam, right, I find it very, very hard for me to concentrate, So that made me to know that, oh, during my read exam, I should take a break so that I'll be able to maintain my focus. If there's somewhere that you realize that you get to exam hall and most times you don't finish your exam, this is most likely where you're lapsing because you're supposed to actually practice before the exam to see that you're able to answer the questions that they are giving you within the allotted time. This is one study technique that I can allocate 30% of my success to in my CAPM exam. So the second point is carry out a memory check. The top students that you see in your classes, right? They don't just, go to the exam hall and hope they remember, but they actually check to see that they are actually remembering what they are studying. So what you need to do actually before you get to the exam, check what you actually be able to remember from what you're studying, and you can easily do this using, active recall study techniques, writing out what you've done to see that you actually remember it, going through past questions to see what you actually remember from what you studied, setting questions for yourself to see that, oh, I remember this part, I'm forgetting this part, and all that. So carry out memory checks. Don't just be studying. And like I said repeatedly in many videos, right? In exam one, they're not testing your ability to read, they're testing your ability to recall. So when you're reading, don't just read, but also practice recalling to ensure that, oh yes, I truly remember this thing. And this next point is one that a lot of students neglect, and I've neglected it a whole lot of times, and it has made me have C's in courses that I should have had A naturally, and that is mastery. When you see yourself getting to an exam when you're making useless mistakes that you should not be making, you're forgetting SI units, you're not writing this formula, you're doing rubbish, you have not yet gained mastery. And this part is going to be a very, very long part because I'm going to be talking about three particular things that you need to do to gain mastery in every single course you're studying, so that you stop forgetting what you're doing and actually remember it properly. And the first point for mastery is practice. Because if you actually practice what you're studying, right, there's no way that you get to exam hall and you actually forget what you've actually read. This was a mistake I made in my journal level. There was one course I had that I was forming ability life. They told me to practice because I now got there and I could not remember parts of the formula, and I was there doing God help me. God help who? Why didn't you practice it when it was the time for you to practice? So, especially for people that are studying calculation subject, right? Practice those questions that you think are going to come out over and over and over again. Because that will actually help you to truly remember what you studied. And when you get to the exam, you won't be making flimsy mistakes. Next one is spaced repetition. What you do over and over again, it is very, very impossible for you to forget. I know there's a lot of videos that they're telling you read once and remember forever. Well, me, I'll just tell you the truth. What you give yourself to continually are the things that you're going to remember. Stop looking for the lazy techniques to study, because the reason why you cannot remember what you did in school when you get to your IT and then they're asking you what is it, like, did they teach us? It's because you read it only the night before your exam, and after that you throw it out the window. But people that give themselves continually to their studies, when they get to the industry, they're able to easily remember these things and not be looking very, very, very foolish. So engage in space repetition by continually reviewing what you've learned at least once every single week. And by the time you get to exam hall, it will not be difficult for you to remember. And so the last thing is teaching. And I love this quote that Philip Collins said. He said that In learning, you will teach, and in teaching, you will learn. So, if you want to truly master something, teach it. Even in this recent interview that I did with somebody, right? They were like, oh, whenever they teach something, they find it very, very easy to remember. And me personally, this is a technique I've been using to scale heights right from secondary school, right? Because once you teach that thing like this, to be very, very easy for you to remember. And also helps you yourself that you're teaching to understand the parts of it that you don't truly actually understand. And so even if you don't have anybody to teach, right, you can just engage the Freeman technique, which is just where you pretend like as if you're explaining to someone that's a whole lot, younger than you. And if that 5-year-old person cannot understand what you're teaching, then maybe you don't really understand it. And this next one is use AI. Oh, good. If you're here in this community and you're not here using AI, I'm going to disown you because I don't know what you're doing. But I'm not really going to talk about how to use AI, to do better in academia because I talk about it in this video by the side. But like using AI is going to be the cheat code to you actually remembering every single thing you study, understanding it better, and passing all your exams. So check out this video if you want to know how to use AI to actually do better in your academics. Because I talked about 5 major prompts that you can use that will help you to understand better, and 10 AIs that you are going to be using in 2026 that will actually help you to get the grades that you deserve. And then the last point is you need to organize your thoughts. Have you ever been in a circumstance where you're in an exam where you're trying to remember where this topic came from or where this question actually is from? It's most likely because you didn't really organize your thoughts. This is something I always do when I'm reading. Especially when I want to start reading something that I've not read in a while. I try to organize the topic. I draw a circle in the middle. This is a study technique called mind mapping. You write the topic in the middle or the subject in the middle, and you draw out from it all the different topics that it actually is. This will actually help you to understand, oh, what does this course entail, or what are the things from this course that I should be able to remember. If you don't do this, you will not be able to organize your thoughts clearly. And you can also do this using the outline method, where you just outline all the different major things that are actually in this course. And then in that video, once again, that AI video, I talked about how you can also use AI to organize your thoughts so that you can actually truly remember what you're actually studying. And if you understand these kind of things, right, you'll be able to easily pass your academics. And if you're somebody that actually wants to do better in your academics, achieve the grades you want, and be a better person in your academics and in everything you're doing in 2026, I also suggest that you subscribe to the channel because we're all about excellence and we're also on a mission to get this community to a group of 100,000 people that believe in academic excellence and believe in excellence overall so that we can actually do better in 2026 and achieve our academic and personal goals. So yeah, thank you very much for watching this video and I'll see you guys in another video.